You know, when I was growing up, there were some phrases that I would hear over and over again, and some of them I even passed down to my own children. Things like, were you born in a barn? Usually that's because I was halfway between in and out, and I was standing there holding the door open, of course, and the air conditioner was flowing out, and that's what that translated to. Are you born in a barn? Are you a cow? That would usually refer to my eating habits, as I would forget sometimes to close my mouth when I was chewing, and I probably would resemble a cow as I ate. And so that's one. Are you ever, Pam says this one now, are you ever going to grow up? Probably not. I've heard it's a trap. But, you know, just because I like to play around all the time, I'm always joking around. But one of the ones that stuck with me probably the most is, we asked, did you forget something? Obviously I did, because you wouldn't be asking that question if I hadn't forgot something. But it would refer to me forgetting usually to say thank you for something. Because my mom was trying to make sure I had manners, right? And good manners says that you say thank you, right? Well, it's actually please and thank you, to be exact. And we taught that to our children. And maybe you've heard some of those yourself. Maybe you were born in a barn. I don't know. I was wondering if somebody said, yeah, I was actually. And you know, how that would come out. But maybe you've taught your children that. My wife used to always, she taught my children sign language, how to say please and thank you in sign language. And thank you in sign language is this. If you want to do that, now you can be bilingual. I mean, that's two languages, a little bit of sign. But that means thank you. And oftentimes, we would be out in public, and the kids would forget to say thank you, and she would stand where basically position herself where the person that needed to be given thanks couldn't be seen, but she would tell the girls, you know, that was her way of saying, did you forget to say something? You need to say thank you. And the girls would say thank you. And, you know, they learned also that that's a very important part of how we interact with each other. That it's important to be grateful when someone gives you something. Is that true?
Yes.
Right? Very true. But do we see a lot of that today? A lot of times today, I see a lot of people who expect things. I see it in kids especially. They've grown up somehow that it's just a given. You're going to give me a car at 16, right? That's a given. Really? That's a given. And it's not just going to be a car. It's going to be a nice car. Because my friends drive nice cars, and I expect a nice car. You know, that's somebody who expects something, right? I expect to have a cell phone when I get to a certain age. I expect to, seriously? Expect? Be thankful you have those things, or be thankful that somebody can give you those things. That's probably the better attitude. But to expect it, no, you're not owed anything, nor am I, for that matter. Nor are you. But I think we've forgotten that universal code, those manners of please and thank you. We don't say that very often. We probably are more likely to say please than we are to say thank you. But even please, people struggle with it, you know. Yeah, I heard my mom correcting her son the other day, and the boy said, give me that toy. And she said, did you forget to say something? Yeah, give me that toy right now. And so, I mean, it's more of an expected thing. And that's what we see in today's message. It's going to be a message of healing, but it's also a message of we're supposed to give thanks. It's part of our worship. It's part of who we are. You see, in today's story, Jesus is traveling from Samaria, or he's going to Jerusalem in the area of the borderline of Samaria and Galilee, but he's heading towards Jerusalem. And that's kind of a no man's land, the borders. It's where all the outcasts are. You know, it's where you're usually going to find criminals. It's not usually a safe place around the borders because most of these folks, like these lepers who are sick and stuff, they're outcasts. And they've been set out from society. They're not a part of society. You can't. If you're sick, in those days, you did, like if you had something like leprosy, you weren't allowed to live with your family or be among your friends. You were pushed out. You know, and I guess for the safety of the community, because they didn't want the whole town getting whatever it was you had. So not only were you cast out, but if you ever encountered somebody who on the road, say, who wasn't sick, you needed to tell them that you're sick. You would say, unclean, unclean. In other words, I'm not clean. Don't come near me. Don't touch me. Don't be around me. I'm not supposed to be in contact with other people. So they were really outcast and really ostracized by society. And this is the area Jesus is coming into a village, and he's approached by these lepers who should, by law say, unclean, unclean, but it doesn't say they said that. What does it say that they say? They say, Jesus, Master, which you have to wonder how they knew Jesus at all. And that's the word of his healing power, maybe it had spread around. But they know it by name, they call out, Jesus, Master. They want to be healed, right? How many of us call out to be healed? Yeah? You ever been sick? Calling out to be healed? You ever known somebody who was sick and you were called out for God to heal them? We did that earlier today. We prayed, right? That's part of prayer. We call out, we pray. And that's what they're doing. They're asking to be healed. And Jesus tells them, go and show yourself to the priest. Now, in doing that, Jesus is following Leviticus law. In other words, if you were an outcast, if you've been someone who with leprosy, for you to come back into the community, you had to go to the priest and show them that you had been healed. And he would admit you back into the community. He'd say, okay, you've been healed, you're good to go, you can go back in and be with your family and your friends. So that's what Jesus told them to do. Go see the priest and show yourself to the priest. Now, notice what he didn't say. He didn't say, you're healed, go show the priest. Did he? He said, go show yourself to the priest. But there's something implied there, isn't there? That you're going to be healed. But he didn't tell them they were healed right then. So they went on faith. They leave and they're going to the priest, but they walk away on faith. In other words, they're believing that they're going to be made whole, right? That Jesus is going to heal them. That is a sign of, that's faith, right? Right? Isn't that? To act on something as though it's so is called what? It's faith, right? We do that every day. But it's also called proleptic, which is a nice theological term, which means just that. To act on faith. To act as though something has already happened, even though it hasn't happened. That sometimes is hard to do, because that's real faith. I mean, there was no other reason for those priests, for them to go to the priest unless they had been healed. But yet they hadn't been healed. It says they were healed while on their way. They became healed. Right? Which means that sometimes our healing requires some action on our part, doesn't it? Sometimes our faith requires action from us. We're a part of the process. He didn't say, go sit on the couch and I'll heal you in a few minutes. I'll get to you. You don't have to do anything. Right? He requires some faith in it. And their believing, their faith, and their going was part of their healing process. Because sometimes it requires faith. And a deep faith, a faith of action. Where we have to act like it's going to happen when we have no proof that it is. No. I can remember years ago I was in charge of a camp for 80 8th graders. And I had to get I was in charge of the whole setting the whole thing up. That required 12 counselors. Now that's convincing 12 people to give up a week's vacation in the summer and come be a counselor at a camp. So I started making calls to people, and I got some no's, I got some maybes, I got some I'll think about it, I got some we pray about it, all typical church answers, and I got a couple of yeses. So after I called everybody on the list and everybody I knew, I was still 10 short. So at this point you have to make a decision. Camp's less than a month away. Do I believe that God has commissioned that camp, that He wants that camp to happen, it's something that He wants to happen, and He's going to fulfill those spots, and I just keep on going like I'm supposed to be going and planning the camp out as though those spots are going to be filled, or do I cancel the camp? Well, I chose to believe that God had one of those students there, and He was going to provide me with counselors. Now, I'm going to tell you honestly, I did not make another phone call. But I planned the rest of that camp. And on opening day, we didn't have 12 counselors. We had 13. It was like God said, here, have an extra. I'll fulfill your need plus one because you have faith and you believed. And I truly did believe it. I believed that He would fulfill those spots, and He filled those spots, and I promise you, I did not make not one more call. But see, that's faith. That's believing that God has sent you to something that He's gonna fulfill. He's promised you something, and He's going to fulfill it. Notice, I didn't just sit back. I planned the camp. I was working as though it was going to happen. And sometimes in life, we have to do that too. We have to believe that if God sent us to something, He's going to get us through something. I do that every Sunday. I show up here. I told people at Perseverance, I am the worst preacher you will ever hear. But I make myself available for God to do things through. So I show up here every week knowing that God will show up here with me and that God will get me through every sermon, just like He gets you through it. Sometimes it's more suffering on your part than on mine. But still, we get through it together, don't we? But see, that's what we're called to do. But I'm thankful for that. You see, I'm thankful for God's presence in my life every single day. And what we see here in this story today is that God fulfilled His promise. Jesus told them to go with the implication they'd be healed, and they were indeed what? Healed. They were made whole. But how many came back to thank Him? 1. 1 out of 10 came back. I mean, these are people who have been ostracized from the community, and now they're going to be welcomed back in, which means family they haven't seen, they're going to be able to see. Friends they haven't been able to see, they're going to be able to spend time with them and at their house. I don't know about you, but if that was me, I'm doing some kind of happy dance. I'm going to be joyful. I'm buying somebody a gift certificate to Outback. I mean, I'm thanking somebody. Somebody's getting a thank you note from me. Or I'm going back and thanking them. Right? But how often do we forget that we say the please and we ask for something and it's fulfilled, and then we forget to say, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. We act like, oh, that would have happened anyway. Oh, they got healed because that would have happened anyway. That would have happened anyway. So that we take it for granted. Our God's not a God to be taken for granted, folks. He wants you to come back and thank Him when He does things. Not only when it's some kind of miracle like a healing or something. God does miracles every day. I mean, we're quick to judge the 9 who didn't come back and say, you are grateful so-and-so. You didn't even go back and thank Him. He made you. But we do that all the time. How many of us spend time in thanks every day? I mean, when we eat, if we're not too hungry or if it's not too inconvenient, or we're not out in public or we might be embarrassed, we'll say thanks. But how many of us give thanks Besides at the dinner table. Because you would think that food is like, it's God and then food. Because that's the only thing in our life we're thankful for, some food right there. We thank God 3 times a day for that food, and that's the only thing we recognize. Doesn't it seem that way? If we look at how we give thanks, right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Somebody tell me I'm wrong, right? I'm not. I'm guilty sometimes of the same thing. I know I say those prayers, but sometimes I forget too. But we need to be a thankful people. We have so much to be thankful for. It's like Pam told the children earlier, you were born in the United States. You won the lottery and don't even know it. You said, I wish somebody write me that check. No, I'm not talking about that kind of check, but you won the lottery. You could be so much worse off than where you're at today. You truly could. There are so many things that could be worse in your life that aren't. And for that reason, you should be joyful. For that reason, you should be grateful. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of this. Who wants to volunteer? I'll use myself. That's better. I don't want to embarrass anybody. I'll just use myself. Who can count? Can somebody help me keep count? Anybody good at math? Amy's gone, Pam's gone. Anybody else do math? Anybody? Let's just try to keep up. Let's just try to keep up here. Let's look at my day, and it's not even noon yet, right? I haven't gone over. It's not even noon yet. So let's look at my day. I got out of bed this morning by myself. I didn't wake up to doctor saying, clear! I mean, I got up all by myself. My eyes open, I'm breathing, I'm doing good. Wow. I'm grateful for that. I woke up in a house, in a bedroom, in a bed, in a controlled environment where I pick the temperature. I don't know how many that was.
13.
13. All right, so we're going. I got out of bed. I had to walk 4 steps to a bathroom. I didn't have to go outside and look for an outhouse. I didn't have to go look for a bush or a tree or a hole. 4 steps, right there. I know what you're thinking, that's too much information. But it had a sink with running water and toothpaste, put in this tube that I could put on this brush and brush my teeth. I had water. I didn't have to go get no water. Water right there, just turn these little knobs. Amazing. And they got hot and cold. Hot and I can choose. And I can turn them to get just the temperature that's right for my hands, or to drink some water, or to scrub with in the shower. All right there in that little room. It's amazing. And toilet paper. I don't even need to get into the being thankful for toilet paper. If you've ever been camping, I'm going to tell you, you know you need to always be thankful for toilet paper. But then I was able to go down my steps, my carpeted steps. I got carpet pretty much throughout my house. I got a couple hardwood floors, but it's all something. There's no dirt, besides when we forget to sweep. But there's no dirt floors there. I didn't wake up to walking in dirt or sleeping in dirt or mud if it's raining. Wow, that's pretty good. I was able to walk to the refrigerator, open it up, pull something out, because I have a refrigerator, something that keeps food cool for me. Refrigerator, so it doesn't go bad. Because I have this box, and it's plugged into a wall, and there's electricity, and I didn't have to light no candles. I just flipped that switch. It was light. Light all over. I could flip several switches. I could get light all over my house. I went over there and put my coffee in because I have a coffee maker. I had to build me a fire and hang a pot over a stove. None of that. He got me some eggs out and put them on the stove. I had to go build me a fire, go gather firewood or matches. Just right there. TV. I can sit and watch TV. I can walk from room to room. I have so many TVs in my house. I can see a TV no matter where I'm at. I have a remote so I can change the volume. I don't even have to get out of my chair. My kids are gone, so I have to have a remote because I don't want to have to change channels myself, right? And I don't have any tinfoil or rabbit ears or anybody having to stand just right like this and touch the TV. No. I got a cable connection that gives me all the channels, more channels than I could ever want. I got to get up, take a shower, put on clean clothes, because I got a washing machine and a dryer. And I got nice clothes. Not like some folks in Haiti who don't have church clothes, so they don't go to church. Because all they got is rags, they don't feel worthy to be in church. They don't know that God doesn't care. Adam and Eve didn't have clothes, they didn't care about that, did he? So, and then I'm able to get in my car and ride an hour and 10 minutes to church. In an air-conditioned car, not a buggy, not a tap-tap, not a bicycle. I don't have to walk. God even said, poof, I'm going to give you a driver. And let Pam drive me here. I mean, my car didn't break down. I didn't run out of gas. I didn't have to change a tire today. As far as I know, everything on the car is working. Sounded good coming in here. There wasn't a flood or gust of wind or anything that drove me off the road. I didn't see any crazy drivers. Well, a few. But I wasn't really counting. I was really reading more than I was watching. I have a loving wife who brings joy to my life every day. I have 3 children who are a blessing to me, 2 grandchildren who are a blessing to me. I get to come to this church and preach on Sunday, a church I love, a church where the people don't throw tomatoes at me or rocks or anything like that. And I'm so grateful for that. And it's not even noon yet, and how many blessings?
89.
89. I'm just getting started.
I'm glad you stopped.
We were about to get into calculator mode, weren't we?
Ricky, you forgot one.
What's that?
You forgot your soulmate. You started off and said, I got out of bed. Before you got out of bed, you turned over and looked at your soulmate that God gave you.
That's right. Well, I said I was very thankful for her. I just said it later on.
You said that later on.
Later on. All right, let me go apologize to Pam.
Being a fight one day, I find that to be one of the greatest blessings God has ever given anybody.
Truly it is. It is. It truly is. And I am extremely grateful for Pam. She makes my life complete. There's no doubt she's my better half. I'm not ashamed to say that. She's a far better person than I ever hoped to be. And she blesses me, she keeps me organized, and she keeps me going and picks me up when I'm down. She is my soulmate, and I am thankful for her. That's very true. But you get my point of what I'm saying here, folks?
I don't have to count them all, though.
No, you're good, not counting. We're done. I think folks kind of get the idea, don't you? It's a matter of perspective. It's how you look at your life. You can see the glass half empty or half full, but be glad you have a glass. I mean, the thing is that there's a lot of ways to look at every situation. A minute ago, a young lady left some stuff up here. I could say, I can't believe she left that stuff up and sitting up there. I got to clean up after her. I'm not. What? No, I'm glad there's children in the church. I'm just glad there's children in the church. I celebrate them leaving stuff up here. That's not the way, we don't look at it as a negative, that's a positive thing. It's all in the glasses that you look at life at. We need to be thankful. We serve an awesome God. A God filled with grace and mercy and second chances and love for us. And He's with us every step of the way. And though you may not understand some of those steps, you need to embrace and you need to know that God is with you. And He has already bestowed upon you more blessings than you can even count. Even Billy can count for you. We are truly a blessed nation. We're not a perfect nation. We definitely have room for improvement. And there's definitely changes that need to be made, but the changes start with us and our attitude and what we take into the world. And we need to be grateful. Grateful for every minute of every day. Because every minute of every day, He puts something in your life that's a blessing. If you're breathing, if you're up and you're walking around, I just want you to understand something. You don't understand those things until you don't have them. This is truth. I'm speaking the truth into your life right now. You don't understand what it's like not to have sight until you don't have it. You don't understand what a blessing that is to be able to see. You don't understand what a blessing it is to have full function of your arms and your legs, to be able to touch something with your hands and actually feel it until you lose that. Then you have a full appreciation for what you have. But I'm here to tell you it's a blessing. It's in your life now. Enjoy it while you got it, but don't forget to stop and give thanks for it. Understand that God has blessed you. Don't get caught up in the, oh, it's me. You know, we spend so much time doing that. My life's so bad. Well, what's wrong? They weren't picking up mail today. What? Yeah, the postman didn't pick up mail. Seriously, the things that we let get us down sometimes are so trivial. We need to put them in perspective. And be grateful for what we have. Be grateful for what we have. We need to make sure that we're going to God more than at dinner time. It's good to be thankful for food, but there's so much more we have to be thankful for. And if you can only go at dinner time, then make sure you mention everything that happened between then and your last meal. I mean, if you're only going to go 3 times a day, and if you're somewhere where you can't just sit there and pray and say, thank you, you can just do this. And God will know it's for Him. Right? But be thankful. You know, maybe mamas are wise than we thought, wiser than we give them credit for. They knew that joy comes from being thankful. Because being thankful is a reflection of your character. It's a reflection of who you are. Because to be thankful, you have to be humble. You have to realize that you can't do it all on yourself, and that you needed someone else to help you with it, or someone was gracious enough to help you with something or to give you something. So it's a little bit of a humbling experience. And when we go to God, it's definitely humbling, because we're recognizing that it is God who is our great provider, that provides for us daily and puts blessings into our lives. So it's humbling. And it's part of our worship. Because when we go to God and we give thanks, we're recognizing God as that provider, as that giver of life, as that one who strengthens us each and every day for each and every step. And though we may not have all that we want, we have all that we need. And isn't that what we always told our children? I'll get you what you need, not necessarily what you want. And it's enough. It's always been enough. And it's always been enough to deserve a thank you. And moms knew that. Maybe that's why they taught us to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My prayer for you today is this. As you go through life, you'll recognize the blessings that God has put into each of your lives. And you will never be too shy to say thank you. You'll never be too proud to say thank you. That you'll always just say thank you. And all God's people said,
Thank you.
amen. Thank you, amen. Good listening skills, I like it.